The Audi A5 Sportback has always been a bit of a dark horse in the Audi lineup, in Malaysia at least. It offers a more stylish alternative to the ever-popular A4, and yet is significantly smaller than the A6. In Malaysia, the A5 Sportback is undoubtedly popular, and with Audi now having an official presence in Malaysia, fans are able to buy one brand new. The only problem? It's a fully imported unit, which means it is quite expensive. So is it worth the 460,000 ringgit that Audi wants for it? Or are you better off buying one from a parallel importer? I really like the Audi A5 Sportback. It's a good looking car, and it's one of those cars that where the interior matches the exterior, because even the interior of the car, I mean, it feels well built. There's a bit of buzzing sounds over there from the left hand side, which annoys the hell out of me and would annoy me more if I had actually paid for this car. But besides that, it's a really nice car. I have literally zero complaints, and I've been accused of nitpicking cars before, but I have nothing to nitpick about. But at 460,000 ringgit, I'm just really hard pressed to justify it. Now, even the interior, I mean, there's no sounds coming back into the cabin. It doesn't come with adaptive suspension, but even then, it's just such a luxurious, such a comfortable, well-built interior, which is typical of Audi, right? You don't really hear a lot of complaints about, about Audi creating subpar cars. Not in modern times anyway. So, and the other thing is, I really like the entertainment system. I mean, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard, but that aside, even the onboard software is, I think, among the Volkswagen group of cars, Volkswagen brands, I think the Audi software is probably the easiest to use and to understand. So, over the rumble strips just now, there's hardly anything. Of course, you could hear it, and I felt it, but it's not trashy. The absorbers did a really good job at just absorbing everything. Wow, I am in love with the Audi A5 Sportback. I mean, it may not produce a lot of power as well. It's powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, making about 297 PS and about 370 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100, 6.1 seconds. Not explosive, but great by modern standards. And if I put it into sport mode, which is dynamic in Audi lingo, it makes some really nice sounds as well. So, if you can't tell already, I'm in love with this car. It's just a pity that it is old, expensive, and yet a little bit on the smallish side. Not small for me personally, I'm a big guy. I fit comfortably here. The back seat, not too bad. 470 liters of boot space. In that sense, it's fine. But people that can afford to pay 460,000 ringgit, usually they carry packages in the form of a family. So maybe not, right? I'm just assuming. You got to be really successful to be able to afford this quite young, or you must have a really rich daddy, or you might have, a sugar mommy or something. That's not a bad thing. I won't judge you. But that aside, has a family car? Maybe not. If you have a young family and you have just one kid, maybe so, but you will not be able to use this car for very long because your requirements will grow. You will need more space, your child will need more space, there are no USB ports at the back. There are these things that, families need, which the A5 Sportback does not fulfill. But if you're married and you don't have kids and you can afford to splurge 460,000 ringgit on an A5 Sportback, knowing the fact that as soon as you drive the car out of the showroom, you're going to immediately lose about 150, perhaps 180,000 ringgit, then why the hell not? Because this car, it does not only look great, but it is also really nice to drive. And you may be wondering, hey, this is a Quattro, so it's a full-time all-wheel drive system, and you're right. But even so, I've been driving this car now for 5 days, and I've hardly consumed a quarter tank. What's the total consumption that I've done? Well, I've had quite a heavy right foot. I've been on the highway, back roads, I've been stuck in traffic, and I've just done 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers, which is roughly about $20 in RON 95 lingo. So not too shabby lah in my books. Other than that, it's just 460,000 ringgit. I can't wrap my head around that. But unfortunately, that is the price simply because of the way our Malaysian taxes are structured. So this car is made in Germany, which I think for some people that matters. You're buying a German car that is made in Germany, not in Pekan, not in Thailand, not anywhere else, but proper Germany. And that's the reason why it costs so much. Besides that, there's the other factor of the competition at that price bracket. Because at 460,000 ringgit, it opens up a world of competing cars. And I still can't get over the BMW M340. It's just such a nice car. That engine is just amazing. Let's take a step outside. There's no doubt though that it is a seriously good-looking car. You don't see it very often on the road, and even when you do, it kind of makes you wonder, wow, what car is that? You know, that's the attractiveness of the Audi A5 Sportback. And one of my favorite things is this, the frameless doors. You don't see a lot of cars with frameless doors anymore. So I really like this. It's a very iconic, very classic design. Even those 19-inch wheels sort of just really suit the overall character. But the one part where you can really appreciate the overall design of the Audi A5 Sportback is from the side. Check out that silhouette. Just the back of the car, how it just drops to the bottom, and it may look like the one part it had to sacrifice is interior space, but it's actually not as bad as it looks. So even from the driver's seat, I mean, my 6-foot frame is not exactly suffering over here. There's plenty of space for my knees. I really like the sitting position. It's quite hands-on, quite spot on actually, and the seat is quite comfortable. I do wish for a bit more support at the side, but I was attacking some corners earlier, and the support on the seats is not only comfortable, but it's actually quite supportive as well. And I'm a big fan of how of the driving position of the Audi A5 Sportback. And since we are here, let me just point out there's wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I really like that it's still a lot of buttons and a lot of dials. This, unfortunately, with the current Volkswagen family design direction, they use a lot of haptic buttons, but still in the A5 Sportback, we are still seeing, I think this is the 2022 model, or 2021, I can't quite remember. So you still are getting dials and buttons and such, and the only place where you have to deal with the touchscreen is the MMI entertainment system. So that is something that I personally like. And you're also getting this digital meter panel over here, which you can convert into a GPS meter. So this, you get 3 different customization options, and this is one of them, and this is my favorite. Unfortunately, it doesn't sync with the Google Maps that you can access through the wireless Apple CarPlay. So this is the onboard map. So if you want to get directions displayed over here, you'll have to use the onboard map. Haven't tried it though. I prefer to use Google Maps. Let's go check out the back seat. So the front seat adjusted to my liking, my height, and it's not so bad. I mean,
it is kind of small, but you do get quite a lot of headroom. Definitely more than the Toyota Vios. That's just a reference point for me. So it's not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't want to be behind here on a very long distance journey, but yeah, it's tolerable. You also get cup holders here, and you also get air conditioning blowers together with your own temperature settings. Unfortunately, you do not, however, get any USB ports at the back here. Now keep in mind that this is a Sportback design, so the entire back portion of the car together with the rear window actually comes up, and you get about 475 litres worth of boot space, which is quite decent. It's not exactly huge, but for young family and such, it's quite decent. I can imagine that if you have one of the smaller strollers, you'll be fine. You'll be alright for a weekend's getaway. It'll be tight. You'll have to do some clever packaging, but I reckon that is quite okay. And the other thing that I quite like about the design, now this is quite weird, but I personally appreciate it, is these two exhausts. They are actually real exhausts. There is a squarish exhaust at both those ends, and that is something that I like. None of those fake exhaust kind of nonsense that you get these days. I really like the Audi A5 Sportback. It's a really good looking design. It's just that my current requirements require a different type of car. I really love the overall design, and it's just that I have a young family and I need proper storage space. As much as I like the design of the A5 sedan, the A5 Sportback, I'm hard pressed to justify it, because at 460,000 ringgit, it's quite a lot of money, and that's because it's an imported model from Germany. So yes, with Malaysian taxes and such, this is no fault of Audi Malaysia. It's not to say that they are being greedy or such. It's just that our current taxation structures basically pushes the price of the A5 Sportback quite high, to stratospheric levels. So yes, at 460,000 ringgit, you basically open up a whole different world of possibilities. In my books, if I wanted something of this segment, of this size probably, I would get the M340 BMW. Thank you for watching. I'm Cashy Dylan. Do consider subscribing.